Hello, I'm Charlie Thompson, and this video is just going to be a quick video on how to use Google Earth. We'll be using Google Earth a lot this semester. It's a fantastic program. So open up a new tab. We're going to go to earth.google.com. Hit return. That'll open up this page, the splash screen. We're going to click on Launch Earth. If you really want to, you can download it as a program and install it, but Google a couple of years ago also launched this web-only program. So we're going to click Launch Earth. It opens up another tab. I'm going to go full screen. It's going to load in some data, and there you go. So I love Google Earth. I think Google Earth is the most amazing geographic technology of my lifetime. I thought GPS was amazing. Google Earth is just way better. There's just nothing you can't beat looking at Earth. If we wanted to talk about patterns across, like I mentioned, 95% of everything in this class we can explain through latitude. So going from tropical rainforest to savanna to desert, tropical rainforest at the equator, savanna, and then full-on desert as a function of latitude. If we wanted to look at the United States, we could look at general patterns across the United States. East Coast is green, West Coast is brown. You can see the Mississippi cutting through here. This is the floodplain of the Mississippi. This is the Atchafalaya River. Well, actually, the Atchafalaya flows here, and then it takes a bend and goes out there where the Mississippi wants to go. The Mississippi flows down and then empties out where the Atchafalaya used to run. You can see the folds of the Appalachian Mountains. You can see the fold that resulted in the Black Belt soils. We can look at volcanoes up the west coast, the Sutter Buttes, Mount Lassen, Mount Shasta, going up through Oregon, volcano, 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 volcano. Anyway, Google Earth, absolutely love it. So I want you to go to the hamburger button, click on Menu, go to Settings, and the two settings that we care about, units of measurement, feet and miles, you can just make sure that's for now in feet and miles. Latitude, longitude, you can format and display as either decimal or degrees, minutes, seconds. Make sure that is set to decimal. And here's how you can tell. Decimal, I'll click it to degrees, minutes, seconds, save. And down here in the lower right-hand corner, it's giving you the latitude and longitude of the center of the screen. So the center of the screen right now is 8 degrees, 30 minutes, 18 seconds north, 71 degrees, 31 minutes, 7 seconds west. So it's got degrees and then minutes with the little foot sign and then seconds with the little inches symbol. We don't want that. So I'm going to go back to settings and I'm going to make sure it says degrees, minutes, seconds, and now it says decimal. That's what we want. We want decimal. And now down at the bottom, you can see that it's just 4.7761999. That's good. Go to map style and let's turn on everything. And scroll down. We want the clouds off for now, but you want grid lines because this lab is all about latitude and longitude. So when you turn on the grid lines, if you're zoomed out, this is a 10-degree grid. So for example, here's the equator, 0, 10 degrees north, 20 degrees north, the Tropic of Cancer, 30 degrees north, 40 degrees north, 50 degrees, and then lines of longitude. So 100 west, 110 west, 120 west. And one of the questions for you to answer is, what's the latitude and longitude to the nearest 10 degrees? For Sacramento, to the nearest 10 degrees, I'd say we're 40 degrees north, 120 degrees west. So if we went to someplace, if I was asking you the same thing about, let's just say New York City. Ooh, that's going to be tough. To the nearest 10 degrees, now I've zoomed in too far. To the nearest 10 degrees, I would say it's probably 40 degrees north, 70 degrees west. So always latitude and then longitude. As you zoom in more, now it's got a 5-degree grid. So now it looks like New York City is closer to 40 degrees north, 75 degrees west. If we keep zooming in, Now it's every degree. It looks like it's closer to 41 degrees north, 74 degrees west. Now it should be a half degree grid. 74, 73 and a half, 73, 40 and a half. And then if you keep zooming in, it'll go to a tenth of a degree. So now we could say, oh, clearly the tip of Manhattan is, waiting for it, 40.7 degrees north and 74 degrees west. 70, actually, and I'm really glad I just did that. So for the test, for the assignments, if I asked you the latitude and longitude of New York City or the tip of Manhattan to the nearest tenth of a degree, and you said it's 40.7 degrees north, 74 degrees west, that would actually be wrong. If to a tenth of a degree, you'd have to say 74.0 degrees west. The 0 is important. So let's zoom out a bit, and here's the search bar. And the search is going to be convenient. So for the assignment, I gave you latitude and longitude pairs and said, okay, what's there? And then I gave you the names of cities and said, what's the latitude and longitude? So either way, if you know where the city is, you can zoom around, click and drag, and if you're clicking and dragging and things start to get weird, yeah, like now my lines of latitude and longitude are all messed up. You could either click on the little compass in the lower right, or you can just use the N for north key. That'll reset it to north. We can also, and we'll use these tools later, you can zoom and tilt and get a sense of what the mountains look like. Let's just go to zoom up through the valley, go up to Shasta. There you go. So if we wanted to, we could zoom in, make a little tour around Mount Shasta. So now, if I wanted to look at anything but Mount Shasta, my view is totally messed up. The R key will both set north-south back to north-south and also fix the tilt so that you're directly above wherever you were pretty much. So here's Lake Shasta or Mount Shasta again. If we zoom out, you can use the search bar, Mount Shasta. And it's going to zoom in. And now you could pull, except that if you use the search bar, you got to remember it's going to zoom, and then it does this cool preview thing where it flies you around like you're in a helicopter over that feature, which on one hand, it's really cool. On the other hand, we just wanted the latitude, longitude, so I'm going to click R to reset my view. And now we've got, it looks like to 100th of a degree. So now we've got latitude, longitude to 100th of a degree. Now we're back to it. Still to 100th, 10th. 41.35, 41.4. If we zoom out again. 3, 4, 5. So now it's to a tenth of a degree. So you can use the search tool to search for a location. You don't need the degree symbol, so I could type in 40 degrees north, 120 west, and it'll fly me to that latitude and longitude. And again, do that weird thing. If I hit R and then zoom back out, that's where we are. So 40 north, 120 west. So you can put in latitude and longitude, or you can put in the name of a city. Either way, it'll fly you there. There's also measure tools. You can click on the little ruler. You click once to start, double click to finish it. Like one of the things that we'll talk about, one of the things later, is the different, let's start new, that the lines of longitude at the equator, about 690 miles for 10 degrees of longitude. Do that again. So at the equator, 10 degrees of longitude. 1 degree of longitude at the equator is about 69 miles, so 10 degrees, 690 miles. And if we get up to 60 degrees north, it should be half of that, because the 60th meridian has half of the circumference of the equator. So if I click here, double click again to finish, 350 miles. You can also click once to get a vertex, click to make a vertex, click to make a vertex, double click to finish it. And now we've got the perimeter and the area. And then you can change the units. If you wanted hectares, we can get hectares. If you wanted meters, we can get meters. If you wanted kilometers, you can get kilometers. Some of the other cool things you can play around with, if you click on map style, you can turn on animated clouds. It'll show you the last 24 hours of clouds. You can turn on the labels. You can turn off the labels. You can pick and choose which labels. If you just wanted, for example, just the rivers, you could have that so that just the rivers would be labeled. I would recommend playing around with Google Earth. Over off on the side also is help. Some of the videos that they have, some of the pages that Google has set up to help you figure out how to learn to use Google Earth. I think that would be a good idea too. But that's pretty much it. The important things under map style, that's how you can turn off or turn on the grid lines. I mean, on one hand, you don't need the grid lines because in the lower right-hand corner, it'll give you the latitude and longitude directly underneath your cursor. So if I turned on the borders, let's say Santa Cruz. If we wanted to go to Santa Cruz, I just look down at the bottom. So 36.98 degrees north, 122.0 degrees west would be the latitude, longitude of Santa Cruz. Or you could turn on the grid lines and read the values off the grid lines. 37 degrees north, 122 degrees west. So that's it for this video. I wish you good luck on your first lab assignment. If you have any questions, please show up either for the student hours, or you can text me, you can call me, you can email me. I'll set up a Zoom chat. We can talk on the phone. I'll text you back. One way or another, I'll get you through the class. That's it. Good luck. Bye-bye.